This is Judge Joe Brown, and we're listening to We All Be News, news-free Dixie for the 21st century.
Oh, Mr. Haynes. Oh, Brother Roy.
Yeah.
Yes, how you doing, sir?
I'm all right.
That's good. It's an honor to talk to you. You are a true living legend, a man that know how to keep the beat and keep everything on time and keep it moving. So I just want to ask you a question about your first drumming instructor, HErBErt Wright. Your thoughts about him?
You read something that I said or I supposed to have said or something?
Oh, I read an article, I believe it was from a Boston media outlet about him being your first teacher.
Right.
And I also know that he was the guy who killed JaMEs.
All right, he killed him, huh?
That's what they say. That's what I'm reading. They say he killed him, but he was released after he served about, I guess, 8 years on April Fool's Day, 1927. And I know he was
released.
Yeah,
released then?
Yes, sir. Released from prison.
Oh wow! Yeah, I think I did hear something like that.
Yeah, he served 8 years in jail.
8 years? Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yeah, April Fool's Day, 1927, they let him go. And you was about 2 years old at the time when he, got out of prison.
I was about 2 years old. You
yes,
read
sir.
That, huh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I know. He lived across the street from where I lived, and he was a friend of my father's. I remember his wife too. Yeah.
So was he? Was he a very approachable guy? What was his personality like?
What was his personality? Well, I was very young then, so he was great. I looked up to him as a great person, and in fact, I had drum lessons with him. I think my father paid for those drum lessons because he was a friend of my father's, like I mentioned.
Yes, sir. So how old were you at the time when you started your drumming lessons with Mr. Wright?
How old was I? I don't remember. I'm thinking maybe I was 10 years old, 9 or 10, maybe.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you got a very distinctive, innovative drumming style. And I'm just curious, how was HErBErt Wright's drumming style? How would you describe it, his drumming technique?
Well, he was great. I can't really describe him because I don't remember. I'm trying to remember who I heard him play with.
Mm-hmm.
I know they had a band in those days that would come to different neighborhoods, and it was called the Jenkins Band.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you ever heard about the Jenkins Band. Have you?
Yes, sir. Down the Jenkins Jazz Orphanage Band down in Charleston, South Carolina. Right. You talking about? That's where he came from. Right. Him and his buddy Stephen Wright, the percussion twins. I think they called them at one point. Him and his buddy. A lot of Jabbo Smith. A lot of them guys came out that orphanage.
Right. Mm-hmm. So you heard about that before, anyhow, huh?
Yes, sir. Actually, I got a great uncle. He owns the Charleston Chronicle, the newspaper down there, the oldest black-owned newspaper in the state of South Carolina. He's actually on the board for the Jenkins Orphanage. I met him out a couple years ago.
All right. And that's your uncle, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. His name is James French. They call him Frenchie.
How about that?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
He's still living?
Yes, sir. He'll be 90 years old this October. But I met him about 2 or 3 years ago. He's from Kansas City, and he grew up with Charlie Parker. Charlie Parker was a good childhood friend of his, and he used to play at his brother's restaurants and stuff in Kansas City.
How about that?
I didn't know about that until I met him 2 or 3 years ago.
That's some serious history, yeah, man.
Oh, you some serious history. What are you talking about? You all modest over here.
Yeah, but
now this is Oliver Nelson the other day. Yes, sir. Blues and the Abstract Truth. Use the truth. I was listening to that the other day, man. I love that, man. You blessed. I'm going to ask you this. You remember when you found out who HErBErt Wright was, his connection to JaMEs? What was your thoughts about that? Or do you remember that?
Well, I don't remember anything about JaMEs then.
I know that was before your time. I know that, but I'm saying, you remember when you found out about his connection to his story, your teacher?
Well, that probably was much later, after he had left the planet.
Yeah.
But I knew he was very famous. I looked up to him. He was a friend of my father's too. He only lived across the street from where we lived.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And when did he die? When did he leave the planet? Can you recall?
I don't remember exactly when he passed away, but I probably was very young. That's before I was a teenager. I'm thinking.
Yes, sir.
I'm thinking that was before I was a teenager. Yeah.
Did he have any kids by any chance? Do you have any that you know of?
Not that I know of. No.
Yeah. So it is fascinating just talking to you. I mean, think about all the stuff that you do know and stuff like that. And I just want to. I know you came. You started your career over 17 years ago, which is amazing. And I just want to know about the scene back then in the 40s. How was the music, the jazz scene?
How was it?
Yes, sir.
Well, it was, to me, it was always great. It was a highlight of my life to be able to hear people play. And I was fortunate to have known people like HErBErt Wright, and remember him and his wife. Like I say, he was a friend of my father's, lived across the street from where we lived.
Mm-hmm.
And there were some other younger drummers that I looked after and were great. They're not living now. I can't think of all of their names, but it seemed like there were a lot of drummers, man.
You know what I like about Shadow Wilson? That's the one that people don't really talk about like they should. I mean, I really respect the work he was able to do in that short period of time. Shadow Wilson.
Yeah, he was a great guy, and I knew him pretty good. Yeah, I remember he got me to take his place with somebody. I don't know if it was with Bird or somebody. I took his place. Shadow Wilson. Yeah.
Wow. And what was it like? I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry.
What was what like?
Playing with Bird, playing with the Birdman.
Oh,
the Yardbird.
Man. Wow. That was a great life. I was lucky to play with Bird and Prez. And I mean, not for one gig. I played with both of them for a long time.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So who was your favorite musician to play with, like, in terms of, like, just playing with? Who was your favorite?
Well, naturally, it was people like Charlie Parker and Lester Young and some other younger guys. I can't think of all their names at the moment. But I was pretty fortunate. I had that thing, dang, did a dang, did a dang.
Mm-hmm.
As they would say back in the days, I could swing. So I was fortunate to play with a lot of people like Lester Young. I played with him a long time, and I played with Louis Russell's big band. That was my first big band. Yeah, it was a great experience.
So, do you find it easier to play with I guess, instrumentalist, or a musician that plays an instrument versus a singer, or which one you prefer? Like, I know you played with Sarah Vaughan for a while too. Yeah,
well, Sarah Vaughan was a genius. It was great to play with genius people, great people, man. I had a very young experience to have played with a lot of the people that I played with. And to still be playing, man, it's Jesus Christ. I feel very fortunate, man.
Well, you know how to sell it, man. You having a ball every time you play. I mean, you really enjoy yourself up there.
Hey, you want to see who that is? My phone is ringing up, so you can see who that is from me. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Well, I want to ask you about HErBErt Wright. Like, I know he's from South Carolina. I mean, like, did he talk a certain way? Was he like a Gullah Geechee dialect?
Maybe a little, but yeah, I remember his wife too. He had a fine lady.
We met up in the East Coast, or was she from down south in South Carolina?
Probably, yeah. She probably was from South Carolina. She had a little accent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My father was friendly with all of those people. Lived like close to us and everything.
Yes,
and
sir.
They all drank.
That's good. Drinking partners. So, I want to ask you, what was the most important lesson you think that HErBErt Wright taught you about the drums, or about the music?
Well, that's I don't know what the most important thing was. Because I didn't study with him that long, but, you know, like I say, he lived across the street from me, so I'd seen him a lot, you know, and I had respect for, you know, older people like that. He was probably my father's age. Yeah. And right. I know they all used to drink a lot.
Yes, sir.
I hope my phone's not going off. I felt a little vibration, but it's on at the moment.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I want to ask you, like, his stature. Like, was he a tall man? Like, what is his physical description?
No, he was not. Definitely, he was kind of short, if I remember correctly. His wife was too. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. So Boston or Roxbury, the neighborhood, that's a very historic neighborhood for Black people, of course, with Malcolm and Louis Farrakhan as well. But what was it like growing up in a neighborhood like that?
Oh man, it was beautiful, man.
Mm.
It was beautiful growing up there. You know what was so great about my father bought this house where we lived when I was 2 years old.
Wow.
It was a 6-room house. Had it couldn't call it a basement because it wasn't a place to live in, but it was a cellar.
Mm-hmm.
We had I used to have drums down there, and it was a furnace down there that I would go to put coal in the winter in and all that. It was great growing up, and you know, to have a parent that owned his own house, 6-room house, right across the street from a Jewish synagogue. Had French Canadian people living near me, and you know, it was great growing up there.
Wow.
All kind of people, not just Black people, but Irish and all kind of people living there. Jewish synagogue right in front of the house that we owned.
Wow, that's amazing.
I hope this phone doesn't shut off because I feel it humming when it hums.
Oh, actually, so was your father a musician?
My father, he was like a vocalist. I think he played. We had an organ in our house, so at that time he played the organ.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he used to sing too.
Was he like self-taught, or he took lessons, or?
Did he take lessons?
Yes, sir. Or was he self-taught?
I wouldn't know. I didn't know him when he was a kid, so I don't know if he took lessons. But he knew a lot about singing, and he used to like to sing. That I know.
Yes, sir. And where do you get your fashion sense from? And you're a very snappy dresser. You know how to put it together.
Where I get my fashion? I was always into that. I was always, ever since I was very young, man. I was into clothes, original stuff, and yeah, that I do remember.
And I'm gonna ask you this: as a musician, who was your favorite swing band? You had a favorite swing band, or
Count Basie?
Why Count Basie?
Say why?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Well, I like Jimmy Lunceford too, but Jimmy Lunceford was a little before my time.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the drummer that played with both bands.
Mm-hmm.
I knew most of the drummers. Like I say, the street that I lived on, Haskins Street, Haskins, seemed like a lot of drummers had lived on that street, including HErBErt Wright and another guy, maybe a couple of years older than me, Bobby Donaldson. He lived on that street too. He was great.
Wow, that's something else. So you like? Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it was great growing up there, man. Yeah, knowing a lot of big time people. Yeah, I'll never forget that.
That's excellent. So you said Count Basie because of Joe Jones? You like Joe Jones, the drummer for Count Basie?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I saw him, when I was very young. When I got to meet him, it was so great, He was always great with me, when he was with the Basie band and they would play the RKO Theater in Boston, I would go there. In fact, I would stay out of school when that band. I wouldn't go to school those days, man.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Well, I'm actually talk about the Lunceford man. I know Count was your favorite, but what were your thoughts about Jimmy Crawford? Are you familiar with his technique or sound by any chance?
Well, I liked him too, but I liked Papa Joe more than any of them.
Yes, sir. I understand that.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts about the Crawford sound? Like what he did that you liked?
Well, I never heard him when I was very young because I didn't go to those places,
Yes, sir.
And then when I was older, I don't know if Lumpster's band was still happening then. So I don't remember hearing Jimmy Crawford with any of the bands. Maybe I heard him on 52nd Street. I don't really remember if I did or not.
Yes, sir. I know Lumpster, he died at 47. And you came out, you professionally 45, like you was basically made your debut in 45, is that correct?
Or was that about 45?
Or did you debut in 1945 or was it earlier?
Did I debut in 1945?
Yes, sir.
What do you mean if I debuted?
Well, I was looking at some of the material online. They said your career started in 1945, like.
Well, that's when I left New York, 1945, I think.
Okay.
I joined Louis Russell's band. He heard about me, and that's when I joined Louis Russell's band, 1945, September 1945.
Okay, wow. That's amazing.
I remember that because the gig I had, I was going to keep that till September or something like that.
So I wasn't playing for Louis Russell, because I know he was with Louis Armstrong at one point, right? He was helping with his band.
I never was with Louis Armstrong long at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't too young when I played with Louis Armstrong, but when I joined Louis Russell, I was still a teenager.
Wow.
Yeah.
What did you thought about Louis Armstrong? What do you think about his playing?
What did I think about his playing?
Yes, sir.
I think you probably know better than to ask that.
I don't know. Everybody got their opinion, you know what I'm saying? You
kidding me?
Yeah, I love Louis Armstrong.
I know the people that were great like that, and I got a chance to play with him when I was very young and be around him. Are you kidding me?
What was his personality like being around Saxophone? What was it like being around Louis Armstrong?
He was great, man. He was great, man. I had respect for all of those people like that. So, as far as I was concerned, he was just a great person, man.
Wow.
Yeah, he didn't disrespect me because I was very young or anything like that, you know. I was lucky with the older people that played music, man. Most of them liked me because I could swing.
Yes, sir. So in order to be a great drummer, you got to be able to swing, right? A great jazz drummer, you can't.
Yeah, especially in those days, man. Yeah.
I want to ask you this, like, about people personalities. Like you spoke about Louis Armstrong, and I'm just interested about Lester Young because I look at his family. Like his brother Lee Young was very accomplished, and also he got a son that's like one of the top educators in New York State. And I thought it was crazy. I didn't know that. So what type of person was Lester Young to know?
Lester Young was one of the most original men that I think I had ever met. I had that I had ever played with. He was great. Lester Young had his own way of talking.
Yes, sir.
He would, he had his own language, man. But it's funny, when I was around him, it seemed like I could understand him, man. I was very young because I didn't smoke or I didn't drink.
Yes, sir.
But I was around people that were doing everything. When I was with Louis Russell's band, some of the guys in the band that were older than me, some of them that were younger than me, they like to smoke herb, as they call it then.
Yes, sir.
And they used to take Roy Haynes with them when they were smoking and say, blow in Roy Haynes' face and say, now watch Roy now, watch it. They had some guys that were kind of square. Louis Russell's band, they would go out and they would smoke their herb, and they would have me with them. I wouldn't have none of it. I was hipper than all of them, and they thought they were so hip because they were smoking herb and whatever else they were smoking and doing. I didn't drink or smoke.
Wow, that's good. That's why you still around, probably. You can still play. Is it amazing? Like so many people are gone. So many guys died young. So they died young. I was thinking about all the guys that you would have known that passed away. They didn't even make it to 30. A lot of them, let alone 40. Are you amazed by that? Like you still around, you going strong, and you still putting out some great stuff?
You know what I am about it? I don't know if I'm amazed or not. I'm happy as hell to have lived this long and to have played with the great people that I have played with.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of people that left the planet early. I don't know if because I didn't smoke or didn't drink hardly, till I was much older.
Mm-hmm.
Still I never did get into cigarettes smoking herb, as the younger cats would call it. I'm not saying I don't know nothing about it.
Right, I heard.
I could do without it, and it rhymes too.
Yes, sir.
I don't know. I'm not talking all about it, but I could do without it.
Yes, sir. I heard that. That's good. Hey, good words to live by. And I want to ask you about some of these cats that I really like that people probably don't really talk about that much anymore. Like, can you recall A.L.L Gray by any chance? I know you played with him before, right?
Did you say would I call him?
No, recall him, like A.L.L Gray.
A.L.L Gray?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I remember him, but you know, I didn't play with A.L.L much at all. I don't think I ever played with any A.L.L's products, but no.
So Freddie Webster?
Freddie Webster, yeah, I knew him pretty good, yeah.
What do you think about his trumpet playing?
Oh, he was great. Are you kidding me? What I think about it, he was great. He's a guy that could play first trumpet. He was good at that. You know, lead. But we didn't work much together. I never hang around with him much together. Anyhow.
Well, how was it? I want to ask you about Oliver Nelson, because like some of my friends think that if Oliver Nelson lived long enough, he probably could have been greater than Quincy Jones as far as an arranger and stuff. And I know y'all did that classic album, Blues and the Abstract Truth, but I think he's up there with Kind of Blue.
I think, to me, he was greater than Quincy.
Wow. Why you say that?
To me.
Yes, sir.
Well, I was not really into Quincy that much. You know, I didn't, you know, I knew him a lot, but he seemed to me to be, I didn't know him as a player. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mostly respected people that played, that could play. I think he talked about music a lot. I don't know if he was that great a player.
You was talking about Quincy?
I guess, yeah, he was.
Yeah, he played trumpet, but he wasn't Clifford Brown. Let's put it that way.
I don't think so.
Oh, he wasn't Gerald Wilson. I don't think Gerald Wilson was. You know, he was interesting. I had a chance to talk to him a couple years ago.
Yeah, but I think Gerald may have played more often than Quincy. I think Quincy was around. To me, I heard him talk more than I heard him play.
Right.
He was a talker.
But what about Oliver Nelson? But you thought he had Oliver Nelson was a better arranger?
I don't know. Yeah, to me, I could play his arrangements. I knew his style of writing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he would the way he would write for a drummer. You know, it was like a cue. Yeah, Oliver Nelson. Yeah. I was close with Oliver's music. And he sort of respected my way of interpreting what he wrote. He would have me there. I know I was playing a lot of his arrangements. And, you know.
Yeah, he got that Midwest. I know he's from Missouri. I think he's from St. Louis because he got that Midwest bassy bounce to it, like the swinging. It's very much swinging. It's very much modern. I mean, I listened to that stuff y'all was playing. It's incredible, man. I put it up there with Kind of Blue, what y'all did with the blues and the abstract truth.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely up there with Kind of Blue.
Right.
It got to be up there. It's one of the best jazz albums or best music albums of all time, in my opinion. My humble opinion. Man. And you swinging hard on them, man. You.
Thank you.
And you pushing them hard. And I want to ask you about a guy with my favorite horn, man, is Eric Dolphy. Like, what your thoughts about him, about Eric?
My thoughts about Eric?
Yeah.
Eric was great. He was a great guy, great player. Yeah, we were almost like brothers, man. Yeah.
He died at 36, right? He passed away at 36.
I didn't know how old I was, but he was young.
Yeah. You know, I saw something online. They had this guy interviewed his parents. I believe it was like either the late 60s or early 70s in their home. And they said that when Eric was living with them, that he actually would go outside in the backyard and play with the birds. Like he'd be playing on his horn, and they'll be doing a call response between him and the birds.
He'd be doing a what?
A call and response. Like he'll play something on his horn, and the birds will respond back to him. Like the birds in the backyard. Right. So I hear all these stories like this. This is unbelievable. I said, but he seemed like he was that type of person. Just one of those special people. They're here for a short period of time, then they do what they got to do, and they leave.
Right, that's something, man. Yeah, I was into the birds too. I would hear them sing a lot of birds in the neighborhood where I lived. And when my father bought the house that we lived in the back was a big bird cage with a lot of birds in it.
Wow.
So that went with the house, man. And actually, when we got it, my father didn't know how to take care of them birds. All the birds died.
That's so wild.
That's a true statement, man. It was a big bird house in the back, man, with the wire and all that. All them birds died, man.
Wow. Is that you still own the house, or y'all still have the house in the family? Or?
We still own that house. That whole street was taken care of, man. The whole street changed.
Wow.
All the houses were taken down back there, you know, after we moved out. Yeah, and I think it was made into that street, Haskins Street, Haskins.
Okay.
The street we lived on was like a hill.
Mm-hmm.
So kids would come from all over when it would snow with their sleds, because you could just, you know, sled down. But it was a very, very, very popular street with Irish people, Jewish people, and black people.
Well, you know, I always think of Boston like that. I think about it, when people talk about Boston, they think about it's like a Mississippi of the South in terms of race relations. But you said it was a different reality for you.
It was not different. It wasn't like the South at all, man. At all.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the street we lived on, it was beautiful because kids, it always seemed like a lot of kids had lived on that street, man. Yeah. You ever hear of the name HErBErt Wright?
Yes, sir. I heard of HErBErt Wright. Yes, sir.
You heard of him, huh?
Yes, sir. That's the guy who supposed to kill James REese.
Right.
Well, your first teacher. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you heard me talk about him, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, he was great to me, man.
Wow.
HErBErt Wright. Yeah. My first drum lesson was taken with HErBErt Wright.
Yes, sir.
He'd be drinking. What would he be drinking? I guess beer and coffee and smoking a cigarette.
Wow.
HErBErt. Yeah.
You ever talk about his wartime experiences with you, like, you know, being in World War I with the Harlem Hellfighters?
I may have heard him talk about it, but I don't know if that was something he would like to talk about. He was very, like I say, he was friendly with my father.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they hang around a lot. They drink beer, whatever else they were drinking. I remember HErBErt smoking a cigarette.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I remember that.
So he was a short guy. He was a short guy.
Yep. You heard me say so, or you heard that?
No, I think you told me. I read about it. I heard it. They used to call him a dwarf or whatever. And when he was playing with James REese band, he used to joke about him being short. So I wasn't sure. Short. He was short.
Yeah, his wife was short too.
Uh-huh. Well, that makes sense. And so was he a dark-skinned brother, or was he light-skinned?
This is brown skin, medium brown skin.
Medium brown, okay.
Yeah.
He had like that Gullah Geechee thing going on, the dialect, the accent, the island type of thing.
When you say the island, what island?
South Carolina, like out there, you know, the Gullah Geechee culture.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, it's hard for me to remember way then. You know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, did he have a favorite song that he would teach you? Like, did he teach you any song that was a favorite of his or anything?
That I don't remember.
Okay.
Him having any favorite songs. I do remember. I asked you if you heard about the Jenkins Band. I asked you that, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, down in Charleston. Yeah, the Jenkins Jazz Orphanage, all that. Yeah, yes, sir.
Right. During the summertime, they would come to my neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And when they were, whatever street they were on, I don't know how I would know what street they were on, or somebody would tell me something. I would go to the street that they were on playing, and then they would say that they were coming to my street next. I'd run home, man, and run home and get up on the roof.
Yes, sir.
And there'd be so many people listening that we wouldn't be nobody would be in our way because we go on a roof.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Wow. And HErBErt Wright sometimes would sit in with the band when they would come to our street. It was very big time to me for him to know the people, or they knew of him.
Well, actually, like, how would you describe his drumming style? Like, what kind of style was it? How would you describe it?
How would I describe the drummers now?
No, his drum, HErBErt Wright's drumming style. How would you describe his style?
Well, I didn't know HErBErt. I don't know if he had a set of drums in his house. I'm trying to remember if he did have a set of drums in his house. Mm-hmm. He just had a marching drums, or drum, you put around his neck or something. I don't remember him having a set of drums. He may have, and seems like I wouldn't have forgot if he did.
Yes, sir. So, like, how did you? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
At that early age, I don't think I had a set of drums neither. Come to think about it.
So how did you teach you? How did he teach you? Like, what did he use to teach you how to play drums?
Well, I guess he taught me more rudimental stuff. I don't remember him teaching me to swing or anything like that. I don't remember. Because I think that came up with me kind of natural.
Yes, sir.
There was one guy that lived, a younger guy, a couple of years older than me. I remember him. He was swinging. Yeah. It was funny, man, to have drummers live not too far from me.
Maybe like it was a special place for y'all to all get or something. It was like, I don't know. There's something special about that place where you grew up at.
Well, it was everything, because it was we live across the street from a Jewish synagogue, and Irish people live next to us. French Canadian live. Oh man, it was something. My father bought this house when I was 2 years old, or the house that I was living in.
Yes, sir.
That was a hell of an experience, man.
It sounds like it was. And I want to ask you before I go. I appreciate you taking time to talk with me about playing with the Loneliest Monk. How was that?
Playing with the Loneliest Monk was like a dream. It was great, man. Seems like you ought to know that was great.
No, man, I know it was great. I don't want to assume. I won't get you because you was actually there playing with him. I wish I was there, but you actually had a chance to play with him.
Yeah, man, it was great playing with Monk, man.
What made him different to play for than anybody else? Like, what was different about his approach?
Not only his playing, Monk was a different type of person. I never met anybody like Monk.
Why you say that? Why you say that? Why you say that?
I say that because he was original. He talked, the way he talked, the way he played, the way he did everything, man, to me, was amazing. He was amazing. The way he dressed. And I was known as a dresser. In fact, I was mentioned in
Esquire magazine.
Yeah,
Best Dressed Man, 1960, top 40.
They had an article called "The Art of Wearing Clothes," and they included me in that. I don't know if I was the only black. I was the second black person to be mentioned in there.
It was an impressive list. Yeah.
What was that again?
It was an impressive list you was included in for that article.
You heard about it, huh?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Cary Grant and some other people. Yeah, you was on. That's amazing considering what was going on with black people back in 1960 in this country. That's amazing.
What do you think was going on with them?
I mean, it's like the civil rights movement, all the stuff that was happening at that time.
Civil rights, yeah, I guess. And that wasn't bothering me much.
Yes, sir.
The places I was going was mixed, and where I lived was still mixed. Like I say, we lived across the street from a Jewish synagogue.
Yes, sir.
And some French people live on one side of our house. My father bought that house. You probably heard me say this or read it when I was 2 years old.
Yes, sir. My
father bought that house, 6-room house, across the street from a Jewish synagogue. Irish people on my left and French Canadian on the right.
That sounds like a United Nations neighborhood right there. It's like it was a real. What about touring in the? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
It sounded like what?
It's like it was like the United Nations of neighborhoods. It sounded pretty diverse.
Diverse?
Yes, sir. Your neighborhood growing up.
Well, I thought it was great to grow up there. I loved it, man. I had different people to play with, pretty girls, white and black.
Yes, sir.
And then like on both sides of our house, one side some Irish people lived. And they had French Canadian lived on the other side of the house.
Yes, sir.
And when the French Canadian moved, when it started getting too black around there, the French Canadian, they sold their house. I think my brother bought that house from one of them or something. And he got it for a good price. It was a nice house, man. My brother Vincent, who's not living now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that street is not even there anymore. Haskins, Haskins Street. That's not there. The whole place changed, man.
Yes, sir.
Huh.
What just before I let you go, what's your take on the drumming scene today, like the drummers of today? What do you think about them? Like the drummers coming up now.
What do I think about them?
Yes, sir.
Well, I don't think about all of them.
Yes, sir.
Some I like.
Mm-hmm.
There's some that are better than others, you know. There's a lot of drummers out there now, man.
Yes, sir.
A lot of drummers.
A lot of them been influenced by you, though. A lot of them been influenced by your playing style and by your career.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, a lot of, probably more have been influenced by my career, because a lot of them were around when I was playing with Bird and Prez.
Mm-hmm, right.
Yeah.
And also, you got a grandson that's pretty good as well, Marcus Gilmore. He's pretty good.
Okay. You name one. Yeah, you name one. He was natural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, you got a son, Craig. He's pretty good.
Yeah, you took all of them, huh?
Yes, sir. So, I mean, I feel like you like the patriarch of a musical family. Like, you got your granddaughter, Olivia Gilmore. She sings, and, you know, everybody's like they're very musically inclined.
Who's that sings?
Oh, your granddaughter, Olivia. Is there an Olivia Gilmore?
How'd you get to her?
I saw it at your celebration, you know, at the Blue Note. She was in the.
You saw her there?
Yeah, I talked to her. Yes, sir.
Oh, she was there. That's what. But you knew of her before you.
I didn't know of her. No, sir. I was talking about.
Okay.
She told me she was a singer. I said I was impressed with your family, and you got to be very proud of her, man. You got like a very powerful dynasty going on.
How did she react?
Sir,
how did she react when you said that?
Oh no, she was proud. She was proud to be your granddaughter. I mean, she was happy. I mean, she's happy. She said, "That's my granddaughter. I mean, my grandfather right there." You know. Yeah.
You met her when?
I met her at your thing at the Blue Note after your last set, where everybody was meet and greet you in your room. Yeah, people coming in.
My granddaughter was there?
Yes, sir. She was sitting on the couch.
How about that?
Yeah, she has some nice shoes on. I guess she got her fashion sense from you. I guess that's yeah, she was looking sharp. Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, you got some good people. But yeah, I'm really enjoying talking to you. I'm glad I had a chance to meet you and to hear you in person. I'm really happy.
Yeah, so I just met you then, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I came all the way from Memphis. I drove all the way from Memphis, caught a bus to D.C. So basically about 18 plus hours to get up to New York to hear you play. It was like a last-minute decision. Yes, sir. I did it the last minute. I said, you know what? You only live once as far as I know. You might well, have fun while you're here. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to be over one day soon. Yes, sir.
That's beautiful of you, man.
Yeah, you was on my mind, so I got to go see you, man. I got to go see you. Cause,
how about that?
Yeah, yes, sir. It's an honor.
Yeah, man. It's nice to have heard that, man.
I mean, it's nice for you to be around and do what you're doing. You made a lot of people happy that you never meet. And, you can make generations more happy. Because once they hear the blues and the abstract soup and all the other stuff you put out there, it's just a blessing. I think HErBErt Wright, you helped give him some redemption. He might not know it, but, you helped redeem him in some type of way. I feel that way.
Oh, that's beautiful to hear, man.
Yeah, I think he redeemed himself by
never met, but you said...
Yeah.
And my father was a friend of his, man.
Yeah. I think it was unfortunate that James Reese lost his life, but things happened, and I think it was a misunderstanding. That, you know how things happen, people regret later on. But the fact that he still had the love of music in him after he went through it, after he spent all those years in jail, then he met you and he taught you something and he passed it on. He didn't keep it for himself. Yeah, you passed it on. You didn't keep it to yourself. That's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to give it back. supposed to leave the world better out than what you came into, right?
What was that again?
You're supposed to have the world left in a better position than when you came into, right? Once you leave. You're supposed to made it better. You made it better. You made more people happy than sad.
Oh, yeah, I like that. 'Cause, a lot of the people smiling. Sometimes people don't speak the language. A lot of Caucasian people coming up, and oh man, I get that. I get that every day, seemingly.
Yes, sir. You are very blessed and highly favored. I believe that.
Wow. And in the way I grew up, my father buying a house when I was 2 years old, right across the street from a Jewish synagogue, and
yes, sir.
And HErBErt Wright lived on that street, man.
That was definitely, that was something, man.
A friend of my father's, man.
Yeah. You had a great, was your father from down south? Where was your father from originally?
My father from Barbados.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's why you got the beat. Okay, it makes a lot of sense
my
now.
mother and father, both my parents are from Barbados. Both.
Wow. Okay, that makes sense. Were they into Marcus Garvey at all? Were they Garvey-ite? Did they follow Marcus Garvey?
I didn't hear my father talk about him. My father was probably hip to him.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like you come from strong roots, though. Like, I talked to Randy Weston this past week. I went to his home in Brooklyn. And his father's from the Allens, too, and his mom's from Virginia. And, it's like y'all come from very strong roots, man. Y'all got y'all, like, very confident. Yeah. Y'all know who y'all are. Y'all know where y'all going. And y'all know how to help people along the way. Y'all, like,
okay.
Y'all some proud black men. It's good to see that,
Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah, y'all got history behind y'all too, but y'all making history. Y'all part of a tradition, and I just wish that young people could understand where they come from, like you all have. Like it'd be a blessing that young people understand the importance of a Roy Haynes or a Randy Weston or people like that or Charlie Parker or all our people that did some phenomenal things.
Yeah. It's I don't know what I would have done if I didn't decide to be a jazz drummer or a drummer.
Yes, sir.
And turn out the way I did, man. And growing up like I did, man. Even when I was very young, I don't know, meeting people like HErBErt Wright, and my father giving me drum lessons from HErBErt Wright. Remember HErBErt Wright's wife and lived right across the street from where I live, and my God, I was fortunate for that, man.
Did they ever cook you some of that down home South cooking, like HErBErt Wright's wife ever cook for you?
Yeah, I've had most some of that food, man.
So she was a pretty good cook, huh?
Yeah, correctly. Yeah. Yeah, man.
So shrimp and grits or something like that, huh?
Yeah, well, I didn't hear the word grits when I was that young. Yes, sir, buddy. All right, man. So it's nice rapping with you, man.
Yeah, it's an honor. From you. Yes, sir, it's an honor. I'm glad. I'm very humble and excited. You made my day.
Yeah, man. Well, you helped make my day today.
You keep on doing what you're doing, Brother Roy. Do it as long as you can do it. Keep on pushing it, sir. And we love you madly. In the words of Duke Ellington, we love you madly, man.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Talk to you again soon.
Yes, sir. Hope so.
All right.
All right.
Mm-hmm.